Now then guys, what's going on? This is Yorkie here and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about player growth and more importantly how you can make the most of player growth to get the most growth out of your players. Now that was an absolute mouthful. Now if you are new to the channel as well and you haven't already hit subscribe, I would appreciate you doing it. We do a lot of career mode stuff. Basically all we do on the channel is career mode stuff and rebuilds and so on and so forth. So we're going to go for it today. Now Barcelona is probably the first save where I've felt very happy and understood the player growth and how to make the most out of a player. Now we will see that with someone like Jesus Ferreira, who went up 7 in this season at the age of 22, and when we look at him, he's not actually predicted to have unbelievable growth. Nowhere near this level of growth. Wasn't the only player in this season we managed to get high growth for. Diego Lainez as well went up by 6. He didn't even play that much as well, if I'm being 100% honest. You can see he's a little bit unhappy there with play time, but we still managed to get a +6 overall on him. When we talk about trying to get the most out of a player, trying to grow them to the max, this is a little bit cheesy. I want you to bear in mind, right? If you are trying to do realistic career modes, you probably don't want to do any of this to help you get more growth. You don't want to do anything that helps you achieve more growth than the player would have naturally. But unfortunately, with the dynamic potential that can kick into certain players, this is going to happen if they're in good form. So there's a few things that you need to think about when you're trying to get the player growth. Initially, of course, you want development plans. Now, I'll be honest with you, it really doesn't matter which one of these you choose. You're going to pick the one that you think best suits the player and the one that you want to see them improve with. But it really doesn't matter which one you choose. I've done rebuilds where I pick target man. I literally go through and pick the top one for every player. So it genuinely does not matter. I've found it will matter if you're playing the games, of course, because you're going to improve a player in a certain way. But if you're not playing the matches, it doesn't matter. And you will see now there's an ETA for complete striker of 17 weeks. If we go for one of the others, it's a lot less time. So if I go for target man at this stage, which I would do because I'm going to see the most growth, it would only be 8 weeks before he went up another overall. So the development plans are super strong. Again, use them or don't use them depending what you're trying to achieve, but you will maximize growth just in general and keep a player's growth. You know, if you've got an aging player, there are a few things there to keep him from going down. When I'm trying to maximize the growth out of a player, this is one of the things I'll do. It's a development plan straight away. And then it's quite simple. You have under morale here on the right hand side, player performance, play time, team performance, and contract. Now, the contract isn't the biggest one. You can see Jesus Ferreira here doesn't have a new contract. He's a little bit downbeat about it, but he wasn't really during the season. This is only since the season's ended. The thing that is hugely important is keeping his morale so that he is happy. You want the player to be happy. You're going to see the most growth out of a player who is happy. That doesn't mean you will see no growth out of a player who's unhappy, but Trincao would have gone up a lot more if he was happy. So initially, make sure your player is happy, and then for me, player performance is all important. If the player is playing well, you will get more growth. And Jesus Ferreira had an unbelievable season for us here at Barcelona. That was a series that we did do on the channel, so feel free to go and watch that. But that is probably the key for me. Now, playtime and happiness, they'll go hand in hand. So his playtime will have a thumbs up if he's happy, basically. Team performance is one of them. Again, I've noticed if you don't have good team performance, you can still see a lot of growth. Here we're at the end of the season, so the team performance will be like that, but during the season, our team performance was actually very good. So the more successful you are, with a player, because they do get an average rating, although we don't look at it so often in FIFA, your player will have an average rating each game, and that will be important to helping him succeed. So those kind of go hand in hand. Keep your player happy, get him on a development plan, and make sure he's performing well. You will see the most growth. We've seen that now with a younger player and how you can use that to maximize your growth, but you can actually use this same method to hold on to a player's overall. Yes, that means that you don't just have to sell a player once he hits 30. You can actually get good use out of them. Now, I do recommend instantly that you play this player a lot of games in that season. He doesn't have to play every game. You can rotate him, but he needs to be a starter or else this will not work. Keep his sharpness up. Like, you genuinely need to do that and keep him happy as well, which would mean playtime. But you can see Ricardo Pereira here has kept an 86 rating at the age of 33. In fact, the season just before this one, he went up by another 2 to 86. At 32 years of age. So that isn't something that happens often, but he was playing well, he had good play time, and his contract, he was happy, just solely happy. I genuinely believe morale and happiness has a huge say in how this works. But these are techniques, again, that will help you. Now, you'll see that he doesn't have a player performance, and that's just because we're right at the start of a new season, so you won't have a player performance. That was a thumbs up. He was thumbs up in all 4 categories, and this will mean that he keeps his overall rating, and in fact, even goes up. Now, this won't work for every player. Some players do go down quicker than others, and you will notice if you're not using them, that will happen. Now, in this series, what we did with Jamie Vardy is we played him a lot in the first 2 seasons. He actually kept his overall rating. Same with Kasper Schmeichel, played him a lot, but eventually he started going down a lot quicker than we expected, even though he was playing a lot, but he didn't have good player performance. There wasn't really anything I could do about that. It's a bit iffy when it comes to the goalkeepers. You know, they might just have bad player performance. I've struggled a lot more when it comes to goalkeepers in keeping their overalls high, but this is a great technique to use. So once you've been in the squad hub at the start of a new save, or after you sign players, you might neglect this screen. You might not come back into it. I completely understand that. I forget myself at times. But you might have players out of nowhere that are unhappy with their contract or player performance or playtime. These guys will not grow. Well, they will because of their age. But these guys will not grow anywhere near like other players. So if you do notice that a player is unhappy or isn't playing well, or is unhappy with his playtime, any of those things, or just unhappy with his contract, this is where you're probably going to see a little bit of a loss in growth, and that's why we'll see that certain players here, they probably won't grow as quick as the rest of the team. That's going to be it for this video. I just thought I'd share this with you. I'm going to keep sharing little tips and tricks that I learn along the way and things that I notice. And that was definitely something I spotted in the Barcelona career mode. And it has taken me a couple of career modes to get to this stage. Now, there is more cheese you can use, like training a right winger to play left wing for some strange reason. That gives you an attribute boost, much bigger than being on a training plan. I would recommend not using them. If you get 90 rated players very quickly, a career mode is going to feel stale. To be honest with you, I would recommend not using any of this apart from just keeping your player happy. You will probably see a little bit more natural growth than having them on an actual training plan. I like the training plans, but they're a little bit too strong. Jesus Ferreira in 2 years is now 80 rated. I think he scored like 40 goals that season. He feels extremely good to use. He would probably in another 2 seasons, as long as I kept using him and playing well with him, been a 90 rated player, which in reality is not what should happen. But I mean, it's up to you. If you're doing this just for some fun and you want to see how high you can get a player rated, I would use this technique. But anyway, that's it for me. Take it easy, take care, and I will see you in the next video.